Hello and welcome to Elaine Robinson Yoga. So you're new to yoga, you have questions. Hopefully we have the answers. So this is just a little video of a compilation of a lot of questions we get asked when people come to our classes for the first time, which I thought you might find useful. So the biggest thing is people are really worried generally that they've never done yoga before, or they did it 20 years ago, pre-children, and they're just really worried that they can't do it. There is no such thing. If you can move your body in some shape or form, that's fine, you can do yoga. So whether you can get to a mat or not, maybe you need to use a chair, it's really just about finding the right class for you. So look for something that says beginners yoga, yoga for beginners, chair yoga, yoga for seniors, all sorts of things, rehab yoga, yoga therapy, and just contact the teacher that you're thinking of going to see and ask them ahead of time, is this class suitable for somebody at my level? And just have a chat with them. Second thing, what do you need? Not a lot. I mean, there's lots you could buy and lug around, but remember, A, you're going to have to carry it to the class, and B, what's the point if you're not going to, we're going to do it once a week, and really you're just at a fairly entry level, you don't need a lot of stuff. So the first thing, well, the only thing really I would recommend is a mat. So this mat I'm on here is a 6mm mat. You can get them thinner. I actually generally usually have a second thinner mat underneath. My knees don't like hard surfaces, so I'm always in awe of people who have really thin mats. It doesn't work for me. You can of course use a blanket under the knees when you come into kneeling poses, but I just find this one works for me. So it's a little bit sticky like most yoga mats are, just helps to keep you in place. You don't have to spend a lot. You can, I think these are $19.99. You can get them cheaper. You can spend $200 or more, depending on the name and the fabric that it's made from. So definitely, I would buy a mat just from a hygiene point of view. It's yours to keep. Do keep it clean, but it's just nice to have, and then you can practice at home as well if you feel the urge. The only other things, well, let me first of all then, or next, show you Sukhasana. So this is a question that a lot of people do. Some people do ask, and a lot of people don't actually ask. I see them in class. They sit and they're getting really kind of rigid and holding their breath, looking really, really uncomfortable. People often are afraid to ask things in class. So please don't let that be you. If you have a question, always ask it. There's no silly questions. We don't know what we don't know. So Sukhasana, easy seat. In many classes, particularly beginners classes, there'll be a period at the time at the beginning where we sit, just settle on the mat, do some breath work, maybe set an intention, whatever it is that your teacher will lead you through. But really the purpose of Sukhasana is, I say, to come to the mat, but we're looking to be able to elongate the spine. Okay, so we want to be sitting nice and tall. We don't want to be slouching, which is where most of us tend to start. And some people will just find sitting like this for a couple of minutes a real trial in itself. So if that's you, I would always recommend trying to come up for a little bit, holding that spine. So people talk about core, we're not just sucking the belly button in, it's the torso all the way around. But again, don't get hung up on that, just thinking about engaging all of those muscles. Hold it here for a second or three and just have a little break if you need to, and then come back into it. So you'll see most people sitting with their legs crossed like this. You don't have to. I'll show you some things to help with that. Some people simply cannot sit this way. Maybe they've had a hip replacement, maybe they've got funny knees, funny ankles, funny feet, and that's fine. You don't have to sit like that. You can sit with your legs straight out in front of you. Okay, some people find this really comfortable. I find it really uncomfortable, and I tend to lean back and slouch. But wherever you find yourself sitting, it's again about that nice spinal alignment, sitting up nice and tall, not slouching. So if this is you and you want to sit with your legs out in front of you, do it. There's nothing to say that you can't. Just because the person at the front has their legs crossed doesn't mean you have to. It's your mat, your space for the duration. Okay. However, if you are a cross-legged kind of person, you can do it au naturel with no assistance, and that's fine and dandy. Okay, if you find it's a little uncomfortable in the knees or the hips, you might want to try a block. So this is just about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, just a foam block. Again, not hugely expensive. So this is a proper yoga block in inverted commas, and you simply sit on it. Okay, so it just lifts the hips, opens out the pelvis a little, and just allows you to sit up much taller. It feels much more comfortable, allows you that range of movement in the hips here. And you can see here my knees are close to the ground, still lopsided, but it's just an easier open position for me to sit in. So if you don't have or don't want to, excuse me, you can throw them around with gay abandon. There's always this. So just a sofa from your cushion or a pillow or whatever you've got does just the same job. And you can also use it under your head at the end of class in Shavasana, which we'll come to in a bit. Same thing, just lifts those hips up and allows you to sit up nice and tall. In case you don't even have to buy a block, you can just take a cushion along with you to class if that's what you have. So one final option I thought I'd offer here, not a lot of people tend to do it, not least because it requires a bolster or something similar, which are actually quite heavy to lug around. But again, just something that I know some people find very comfortable. So I thought now would be a good opportunity to just share it with you, just in case that turns out to be you. And you just simply sit on your bolster. So really nice opening up of the hips, allows you to sit nice and tall. Just beware it's an internal rotation of the knees, not for everybody. And again, it forces your feet this way round. So again, just being careful. It may or may not work for you. I find it really comfortable. Not everybody does, but something to be aware of if those props are available to you and you just fancy giving it a go. Again, you don't know what you don't know till you try it. And the other thing we often hear is people say, I'm not very flexible. That's okay. I'm not hugely flexible either. I have plenty of clients who can do far more bendy things than I can, and that's just fine. As I say, yoga, if you can move, then you can do yoga, and it's really about how you feel on the mat on the day. Some days it'll be fantastically easy, other days it's a real slog. So, if you are not flexible, that's probably why you're thinking of going to yoga and probably why you should try yoga. But don't worry about it. It will improve with time, as these things always do. Another really important thing is if something hurts, if you're asked to do something that actually physically hurts you, don't do it. Okay, just do not do it. Back out of it and just take a break and ask for help, ask for assistance, ask for an alternative. There's nothing wrong with that. We are all completely different in our bodies. Some people will move one way, others won't. Particularly important if you are having an old injury that you're trying to protect, or you're rehabbing from a more recent injury. A lot of yoga teachers, we're not actually medically trained. We'll do our best, but you are the gatekeepers of your own body. Only you know how it feels, and it will feel very different to me or anybody else in that room with you. So please be responsible with your body. If it hurts, don't do it. Back out immediately and tell the person who's leading the class, that didn't work for me. Can you give me something else? Taking a break, especially if you're new to yoga, 60 minutes can maybe seem like quite a long time. Just take a break. Just have a seat, sit down, or just stand and watch for a moment. Maybe just signal to the person at the front of the class that you're okay and you are just taking a break. But that's fine. You don't have to keep going. You can take a break at any time. Remember, this is about respecting your body and working within to the edges of your comfort zone. And no further. Don't push it too far. Certainly if I go to something like a Zumba class and everyone knows the routine, I haven't got a clue and I feel like I've got 10 legs and 10 arms. We all need a breather from time to time. So take a moment whenever you need it. Which brings me to the last thing, Shavasana. Occasionally I forget, if I have a new person in class, that they don't know what all these words are. So this seems like another good one, really important. A lot of people, I think, come to yoga just for Shavasana. Maybe not just, but so I was joking for you, but you can use a pillow under your head if you want to. Personally, I prefer not to, but there is that option if that works for you. And Shavasana simply translates as corpse pose, which doesn't sound very nice, but it is actually really relaxing and very important part of your yoga practice as far as I'm concerned. So again, more than one way to do this, but typically people will come to the mat and we just lie on our backs, legs long, just let the toes drop out, feet roughly hip distance apart. You don't want to keep together, you want to be open and relaxed. Arms down by your side, palms up for preference, but I know not everybody can do that, especially first time of coming. So you may just lie there with your palms down if that's right, or anywhere in between is fine. And just relax. It's wonderful. So closing those eyes and gently allowing the breath to return to normal. They'll talk you through it when you come to class, but this is the pose. If you find, like some people do, particularly if you're there because you have a dodgy back, which is why I came to yoga, you may find that quite uncomfortable and the arching of the back. So just lift the feet to the mat, push the back into the mat, take the feet wide, let the knees come into touch and rest together, semi-supine position. Just helps to push the small of the back in. If that still doesn't work, you can always pop a bit of a blanket under your back or a jumper. Okay, any option like that is fine. I've even had people come to class and they take Shavasana on their sides like this, blanket all the way over them, and that's how they want to lie. And that's fine. Their mat, their practice, their body. So, hopefully that answers some of the questions you may have. If you have any other questions that I didn't cover and you'd like answering, please drop them in the comment box below. Do please take the time to like and subscribe to my channel. The more the merrier. And if you have any requests for future little videos, then do please also drop those in the box below. So I hope that helped. Enjoy your practice when you finally make it to the mat, and congratulations on taking that first step and thinking about yoga. Take care. Bye bye.